and Vijnata. Whatever we are trying to know, this whole Pravartana, now we are having this detailed discussions about it, that you are Janati, Ichati, Yatate, Karoti. And that is the Paryaya. We have to know that something is there, and that is Kriti Sadhya, that I can do it. And then there is no anartha phala associated with it. That if you do something but somebody might get hurt, you will not like to do it. And parigyata is the karta, and jnana is that particular thing that you want to know, the vishaya. And we have discussed that yesterday. Jnam is samanyaneva jnatavyam, whatever is the jnatavya vishaya. Trividha karma chodana. Chodana is that pravartanatmaka, the prerana, what sort of that vidhi vakya. And then karanam karma karteti. Karanam is that what you want to achieve. Karana is that yaga. Karma is that you want to go to swarga. And the karta here is that swarga kama, who desires to go to heaven. And yesterday we were saying that chodana cha upadeshascha, whether there is a vidhi or there is a upadesha, Vidhischa ekarthvachinaha. This is Kumarila Bhatta who says, Ichi bhattecha vachane. And he's saying this vidhi or upadesha, both have, they are vidhischa ekarthvachina. They are only explaining the same thing. Now, this particular bachana sabda he has added, and he's saying that no, the prerana aspect is more important because these vachana, even in the absence of that vachana, you will have a lot of people doing a lot of things. It's not that there is a vidhi for everything, as we were discussing yesterday. If there are sweets being distributed at school after a certain function, the children are going to go and stand in the queue. You don't have to advise them necessarily. So, evam cha preraniyatvam prerakatvam cha anatmana eva na atmana iti abhiprayah. Because whether it is prerana, that chodana, that vidhivakya, that one should do this, one should get up early in the morning and do meditation, who it is targeting, that trigunatmaka thing, the antakarana vishishta jiva. And the atma is actually beyond all that, and that he's going to say in the next, in the following sentences. Therefore, he's saying this preraniya, that karta is the preraniya, and the preraka is that vakya, that vidhivakya is inspiring. And the preraniya, who's prerita, affected, induced, motivated, is the person, any of us. So both of them, anatmana eva, na atmaniti abhipraya. The atma cannot, because it's niskriya, nishkala, nirvikara, nitya. Tatha karanam sadhagatamam bahya sutradi antastam buddhyadi. What is karanam? First he's talking about karanam, karma, karteti. So that karana sabda is explaining samanyataya. Then he will go deeper in an academic manner. We will try to gain some speed here. And then he's saying that sadhakatamam. So you have 20 ways to do a thing. Whatever is the best way to do it, that is the karana. That is the means to the end. Sadhakatam bahya sutradi antastam buddhyadi. So for a human being to do anything, he has these 5 senses, the indriyas, karma indriyas and jnana indriyas, and he has buddhi and chitta, he has to remember, right? And ahankar, he has the agency, and buddhi, the analysis, nishtayatmaya buddhi, all that he has. And what is karma? Kartuhu ipsita tamam karma, whatever. So actually you want to go to swarga, so you're doing a lot of things. So there are a lot of ancillary activities that you might take up, but these are not karma. Karma is what is the objective, the main objective of a particular anushtanam, and that is the karma. Kriyayaha vapyamanam, and then that karma is the vapyamana. So wherever there is a karma, right, there is kriya. Without kriya, there will be no end. So any objective cannot be fulfilled without any efforts. So efforts is the vyapaka, that is adhigadesha vritti. It has to be there. Efforts, without effort, you can't have it. Like, for example, without clay, we cannot have a pot. Similarly, we cannot have any results without efforts. Efforts may be there, results still may be lacking. That's there. But we cannot have results without efforts. Therefore, vapyamanam, and they are of 4 kinds, as we discussed yesterday. Utpadya, apya, vikaryam, sanskaryam. So first is utpadyam. Like for example, a person, a lady got married and she wants to have a child. Utpadyam, apyam. So there is something to gain and you want to achieve it, and it's there, but you want to have it. Apyam. You want to buy a piece of land. You want to buy a house. Apyam. And vikaryam. So you want to modify. You have some materials, inputs, and you want to convert that into jewelry. You have gold. That is Sanskarya. So you have certain things you want to purify. Like, for example, learning, culturing a lot of things. You're doing physical exercise to tone up your body. What are you doing there? It's not you're doing like Sanskarya. So you want to purify it, mind, meditation, a lot of things. Even in ritualistic terms, we have a lot of sanskara. This Jagyopavita dharana, before you want to study, that the guru has to do a Jagyopavita of that student and then only take him up in his Gurukulam. So this particular purification sanctions, and there are a total of, we were studying to 48 sanskaras are there, a total of these kind of sanskaras. So you have solo sanskaras before marriage. For everybody who was born, he has to undergo these like mundanam and then this annaprashanam. And there are different kind of sanskaras, purifications. And then another 32. So this is 48 sanskaras are there in the Vedas. Kartacha इतरकारक अप्रयुज्यत्वे सति सकलकारकाणां प्रयोक्ता क्रियायाः निवर्तकः चिदचिद ग्रंथि रूप. Now, what is that karta? Swatantra karta. That is the Panini Sutra. It's independent, and there are other karakas, other ways in which any particular kriya gets related. Like he borrowed money from X, that from thing comes, that is apadana karaka, and he put the money in a bank, that is the adhikarana thing in the bank or on a table, and then he brought it, he brought the money in a bag with the help of a bag. Then this Ditya Vibhakti comes, and he loves to have money, and that becomes Ditya Vibhakti. So you have this Vibhakti and Karaka. There's all kinds of prakriyas happen there. And Sakala Karakanam Proyokta. So that Karta is the Proyokta of all these relationships, all the Karakas. Kriyaya Nivartaka. So anything which is happening, who is the executant of that? That is the Karta. Without him, no activity is going to take place. Therefore, is Nirvartaka. Chidachit Granthi Rupa, and who is he? Because why are we discussing all this? This is a Vedanta satsang. So he is trying to explain to us that end of the day, this karta that Bhagavad Gita mentions is not the Atma Satta. It's not Atma, but Anatma Rupa. And that is what is Vikarya, Sanskarya, everything it can get engaged with. Atma is beyond all that. It Trividaha Tri Prakaraha Karma Sangriyate. So we studied this. What are these? So what is karma? We understood that he wants to go to Swarga or anything. What is the karana? That we discussed, that he will do the yaga, anything. And the karta, that is karanam karma kartiti trividaha karma sangraha karma srayaha. Chakarat karta iti. Iti, what is explained there? So that chakarathat iti savdat sampradana apadanam adhikaranam cha rasi trayantar bhutam. So he has only taken this Ditya Vibhakti, Tritiya Vibhakti, and Prathama Vibhakti. So he's saying that you can also take into account the Sampradana Karaka, Apadana Karaka, and the Adhikarana Karaka. Where, from where, from where, and for whom. And in this way, if you want to bring those aspects, expand the predicate, then that is also included here. Evam Karaka Satkam Eva, and Trividam Piyayaha Ashrayo. And Nanu, Natu Kutastha Atma Ityarthaha. So all these karmas have their ashra in these karakas. And that is the anatma, the adhikarana is the karta, and everything which is anatma vastu. Atma is nowhere. Yeah, atma is sarva vyapaka, but directly atma is asansparshi. Karma prerakasya. Karma preraka, that is the prayojaka. What is the prayojaka? It could be a person who is ordering us to do it, or it could be an advice that we read in a book. Karmasrayasya, that prayojya, the person who will execute it. The karmasraya is that karta. So you have a prayojaka karta, you have a prayojya karta. Here, karma preraka is that preranatmaka vakya, or there is a person who is ordering us to do it. And there is a karmasraya, the person who shall execute it. Cha karaka rupatvat. Prerak ho, whether the person who is advising us or the person who is executing it. Both of them are karaka rupatvat, and we have mentioned that Atma has no relationship with any karakas. Karaka rupatvat raigunyatmakatvat, and it has this rajas, sattva, and tamas. These three gunas are there. Cha अकारक स्वभाव गुणातीतस्य आत्मा सर्वकर्म असंस्पर्शी iti abhiprayah. So you have this karmas and everything, and it cannot have anything. They are trigunatmaka. On the other hand, akaraka swabhava gunatitasya atma. It's completely contrary to what we are talking about, the karta, this whole process of karma and everything. Atma has no role, it's gunatita, and it's akaraka swabhava. Its dharma is not to be connected with anything. आत्मा किससे कुछ नहीं लेता है ना आत्मा किसको कुछ देता है इट्स सर्वव्यापी इट्स ऑलवेज देयर एंड निर्लेप निष्कला then he's the second line he now explained karanam karma kartiti trividah karma sangraha second thing and then the top one he is now second one he has explained now jnanam gyam parigyata trividha karma chodana the second one has relationship with in a big way with what we discuss in the mimamsa literature and the first one jnanam gyam parigyata trividha karma chodana you should do with this arthi bhavana and sabdi bhavana the vidhi vakyas of the Vedic vidhi vakyas which are there in the karma kanda how do we make sense of it that he is trying to explain a little अथवा ज्ञानम प्रेरणा रूपम you get to know that if somebody invests money he can make some profits and it's zero risk like the government of India bonds they're sovereign bonds very reliable maybe low returns and but then it's a tax saving scheme jnanam prerana rupam lingadi sabdajanyam what is that lingadi sabdajanyam he's saying लिंक्त्व लोट्व लेट्व तब्यत्व इति कर्तव्य हम लोगों का ये करना कर्तव्य है दैट तब्यत प्रत्यय है राइट सो दैट पर्टिकुलर ज्ञान दैट करना चाहिए दैट नॉलेज हैज टू बी देयर दैट व्हेन elder people are there and we enter then you quietly take a seat in the corner and you don't come to give them advice but take whatever is being discussed you take note of it. Now, we have to have that jnana that this meeting, I'm not part of it. I'm not in this group. In a corporate sector, it's quite possible that you are invited to a certain meeting. And unless they ask you, of course, you are not supposed to say anything because you are from a different department. It's the internal meeting. They want to keep you informed about it and they'll invite you to a certain meeting. And because there are 2-3 risks they want to mitigate. And when they will discuss that risk, they'll say, okay, actually, we wanted your feedback on this. What happens in this area? Then you would say, no, this risk is difficult to handle. You say, no, this can be handled. It's not a major risk. We have already have systems to deal with it. Then they are happy. But that is the use. But unless you have the jnana as to why that meeting is called and what you're supposed to do, then so that particular jnana is prerana rupam lingadi sabdajanyam. Then jnana. Jnana is that what is jnatavya vishaya? What is tasya jnanasya vishayatvena lingadi sabda swarupam prerakam. Yajeta swarga kama yajeta. That lingadi sabda jnanam yajeta. That particular thing, jnana. There is yaga vishaya is there. That is the jnana thing. Yaga karna chahiye. यही ज्ञातव्य विषय है और जो पूरा ज्ञान है प्रेरणा रूप पूरा सेंटेंस वही उसका प्रेरक है प्रेरणा रूप है ओके एंड देन परिज्ञाता उसमें कौन जानने वाला जान के करेगा वो निवर्तक बनेगा ही विल ट्राई टू डू दैट यागा परिज्ञाता तस्य ज्ञानस्य आश्रयः that jnana will stay in whom the person who reads that sentence and he has been sent out a mail he has opened his mailbox and he has read it and everybody knows that you have opened and read it. Now the system says whether you have read or not, and they figure it out. So parigyata tasya jnanasya asraya preraniyaha. So the prerana was targeting you. You are the parigyata. Ityevam trividha karma chodana karma kriya purusha vyapara rupa arthi bhavana. Purusha vyapara rupa. There is a transaction. There is an action or a movement which will be undertaken by purusha. That is human beings, all of us. So, Purusha Vyapara Rupa Arthi Bhavana. Arthi word is there because there is a certain phala. There is some goal. That Artha Prapti. Because you want to have that Purusha Artha and therefore you want to do that. That Bhavana word is here. Tad Vishaya means Arthi Bhavana Vishaya Chodana. That means that Prerana, that Vidivakya, whatever that Prerana Vakya is there. There is an advisor, instruction, injunction. Vidhirupa Savdi Bhavana Ityartha. That becomes Savdi Bhavana. So, Savdi Bhavana is a general statement which will create some movement in you that Vyapara will come. So, the president of the corporate, he writes that we have made an assessment. Our HR teams have been working on some reworking or restructuring, and there is some financial and institutional restructuring. We are working on it for 2 years, and I mean they do it in big corporates every 5 years. I don't know. It's just more ritualistic, but they do it. So somebody charges a few millions, they comes and they gives you a plan, and then they will hold a few town halls. They'll have some discussions, but they shoot a mail after these games saying that now you have to choose what are the teams, what are the competencies, uh, and this person is going to now 3 divisions are going to be combined, and there's going to be an advanced level practice manager, as they call. Those kinds of new terms are used. They have now the word was sector manager in World Bank. Now they have become practice managers. It happens all the time. So they'll give you something, some sort of a thing. Now, end of the day, you will have pravriti in you. Now, what am I going to do in this situation, right? There is some information is coming. That information, look at it as Savdi Bhavana. Then it is creating what is Bhavya of that Bhavana, what is the Sadhya, what it intends to create. It doesn't give you any results. It is a strategic perspective paper. It's a strategic paper on restructuring. There is nothing to be done, but immediately it creates movements and a flutter in the corridors in any corporate sector, and especially in the cafes. Oh, really? What do you think? What's going to happen to us? What kind of things we are going to take? Oh, you're very happy. Oh, you're going to get this. Yeah, yeah, very close to your boss. Whatever. We have beautiful conversations after that. Some are bitter, some are happy. Now, this vyapara which ensures among the middle level, the low level guys, and of course the top level guys, because if there is a restructuring, there are losers and there are gainers. So immediately there is a movement in all of us as to what has to be achieved, and there is a target given. We have to achieve this, and there's a big financial issue, and we have to look at our revenues, and we have to look at it. We have to cut down on the expenditures and the travel plans and this and that. No more business class for next 6 months. Travel economy for short distance travels, and you have a directive. Less than 6 hours of flight, you are going to all take economy class flights, even if you may be a manager. It creates that. The second one is Arthi Bhavana. Now I have to undertake these tasks. I have to do it. This is my phala. This is the result. That is Arthi Bhavana. The first thing, this Vidhi Vakya, I'm just making it colloquial so that is understandable. Then we'll go back to the Drashtantika. What is the exact thing, which is a little, it might appear a little difficult to associate with because we are not doing any of these anymore. These are thousands of years of practice was there, but now it's no way anyone doing it except for a restricted number of karmakandis in South India and certain corners of India. Nobody is doing any of these. They know it, they teach it. So, tad visaya chodana prerna vidrupa savdi bhavana. What is savdi bhavana? There's a very simple definition of it which says that Purusha Prabriti Anukula, that conducive to Purusha Prabriti, that it tends to create the Purusha Prabriti. What is Prabriti? It wants to do something. It will make some effort to reach somewhere. Purusha Prabriti Anukula, not Pratikula, Anukula, Bhavaitur Vyapara Visheshaha. भावयिता कौन जो सोचता है that particular purusha भावयितुर vyapara visheshaha. That first vyapara is at a very subjective level. The second one has a lot of particulars, and the first one is very samanyata, very general. Second one is more detailed, and there are certain specifics there about specific actions, specific goals, the timelines, as you call PIPs, project implementation plans. You want to bring them in. You want to put in the result matrix, the log frame, everything comes in there. The Arthi Bhavana. The first thing is Savdi Bhavana. Mostly, what are the goals that you want? What are the key results you want to achieve? Nothing of that, sir. They will just mention the vision, the mission, and why you should do it. What is the ultimate outcome you want to have? Could be a half-page, strategic vision statement. So that is the Savdi Bhavana Ityartha. Tatha karanam sa iti kartivatakam sadhanam dhatvartha. So when a person says swarga kamaha dasapunnamasavyam swarga kamaha yajita, that yajita in that sabda, there are two aspects. Yajeta, as we are discussing, there is a linktva and there is a akhyatatva. Akhyatatva is that dhatvartha, that basically that yaga sambandhiya. But karna chahiye. So you cannot have a dhatu without this lakara giving any meaning. You have to have that suffix there. Then only it gives you any meaning. Otherwise, it's a dhatu root. It requires that suffix there. So first thing that dhatvartha conveys, and the second thing is it also conveys you that it is something which needs to be done, and that is linked to, and that is the preranatmaka. Okay, that is what is triggers a movement in your mind that I need to do it. Tada karanam sa iti kartavyatakam sadhanam dhatvartha, that yaga karna chahiye. Then you have to have, so in Vedas that is these three questions will always arise in your mind. Kim bhavayet, kya karna chahiye? Kena bhavayet, yag se karna hoga. Kim bhavayet, अच्छा स्वर्गम भावयत, मुझे स्वर्ग जाना है. केन भावयत, यागेन भावयत, याग करो. And then katham bhavayat, कैसे करना पड़ेगा. Then you will see that this is darsha purnamasa abhyam, and there is a long process, and you have to undertake all the rituals. So when you are doing your log frame, the same things come, right? So you will have that goal. What is the objective or the result that you are trying to say? Then they will mention what are the key blocks on which you are going to face. What are the key activities? Then they will mention what are the strategies, what are the risks, what are the opportunities. So this particular log frame these people had in the Vedas. It's very evident. Everything should have these three questions. Kim bhavayat, kena bhavayat, katham bhavayat. Iti kartavyata has to do with katham bhavayat. Kaise karna chahiye. Iti means prakara. The samanyat, when something is mentioned, if you want to explain it properly with some additional information, that is the prakara thing. Kis prakar ka kaam? We are asking. So you're asking about some special advanced information regarding that. So that particular, that iti kartavyata. So he's saying that iti means kaun sa prakar. Kaise karna hoga. You have to give that additional information. Then the details. That will, what are the angas, what are the particular, what are the subs of activities. Okay? Though they will all come into picture. Tatha karanam sa iti kartavyakam sadhakam dhatvartha. And what is bhavya? That karana. यागेन भावयत. ओके, स्वर्ग काम यजेता, उससे पता चल गया याग करना चाहिए. अच्छा, क्यों करना चाहिए? मतलब there is something to be achieved. That is the karma. Swargam bhavayat, because if you do the yaga, then you'll go to heaven. Swargam bhavayat. That karma bhavya swargadi phalam. That is the karma objective. Karta, the person, and who is the guy? Why should he do it? That also is explained. Karta phalakamanavana purushaha. The karta, who is the agent, who has the phalakamana. You are working very hard and you are a very committed person. Why? Where are you deriving your energy from? Of course, the goal of your work. I mean, there's something which is driving you to do it. As they mentioned, what are the key drivers for achieving this? Where you're going to succeed and why you want to do it. And here, what drives you? That swargadi phalam. That motivates you. So, karta is phalakamanavan purusha. And you see why he's mentioning all this? Do you see Atma in any of these things? Atma doesn't go to Swarga, it's everywhere. Phalakamana, no, it doesn't have. Dhatvartha is Nishkriya, it has no connection with anything. So he's saying, okay, these are all Vedic and they are in Vedas, valid. We know this is for Karmadhikaris, but for Jnanadhikaris, we would not pay much attention to this. But we'll study that. Nirvartaka, that means that Nisparna, the person who will do the Karya Nisparna, executant, itivam trividaha karma sangraha. So we did it, Jnana, Jnaya, and Parignata. Karanam, karma, karta. All these explained, karma sangraha. Karmanaha, pum vyapara rupasya artha bhavanayaha sangraha iti sankhepaha. Similarly, we're saying that artha bhavana. Artha means you want to have that swargartha, purushartha. You want to go to heaven. Pum vyapara, purusha vyapara. Pum is not male, but humans. So any karma, tad evam arthabhavana rupam pung prayatnasya vidheyasya. Then this prayatna, that is the vidheya. Okay, that is what he's saying, that you should work hard. You want to execute this plan. That is the vidheyasya. That particular vidheyasya. Abhavat sabda bhavana rupa vidhir na suddham atmanam gocharayati, means visayam karoti. Now, can we talk about Suddha Atma and then have this discussion? That particular thing, Purusha Prayatna or Vyapara that we are talking about, it cannot be targeted at the Atma. Why? Karakashrayatvad na Suddham Atmanam na Gocharayati na Vishayam Koroti. Karakashrayatvad. Because this particular work, all these activities, they will do Karaka Ashraya. कैसे करना है, कहाँ से कुछ लेना है, कहाँ से रखना है, there will be adhikarana, apadana, sampradana, all these karakas will come in whatever be the ritualistic discussions you have. And Atma is absolutely having nothing to do with karaka. It's not ashraya of any karaka. Therefore, it cannot have a predicate. It is a subject without a predicate. So you cannot imagine anything and link it up with anything. It's like a subject without a predicate. So, he's saying karaka ashrayatvad, vidhi vidheyoho. So vidhi and vidheya, both, that particular preranatmaka vakya and the vidheya, that jaga karo, kuch karo, they are having some relationship. They are karaka ashrita. The karaka ashraya thing is there. And karaka ashraya has nothing to do with atma. Therefore, they cannot target the atma while having this discussion. Taduktam Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistirganyo Bhavarjuna. Bhagavan has said it earlier. He's just saying, when Bhagavan said it, he was hinting it to him that I am going to discuss this in chapter 18. Karakanam cha Traigunya Rupatvam Anantaram eva Vakhyasate iti abhiprayah. So Bhagavan has said that Karak kaise hote hain, kya hote hain. I'm going to explain all that in the chapter 18. Bhagavan has in advance mentioned that word, Atra. Now he's saying, Atra prasangat vidhis chintayate. Now he's going to make it a complete debate and discussion, a seminar on Mimamsa Darshana. You know what is prasanga? Sometimes there is a context, and therefore I would like to mention something. When you are speaking in a meeting to your colleagues or friends, you say prasanga aaya to mujhe bolne do. And what is prasanga? And there is a beautiful definition, and you may like to remember it. So he's saying smritasya upeksha anarahatvam. So something you remembered. And when you remember, he's saying that usko upeksha nahi karna chahiye. You should not ignore it when it doesn't deserve to be ignored. Maybe you remember you were playing football and somebody shouted at you. It suddenly came to your mind because there was some loud noise when you're having a meeting. It's not contextual, so that is not relevant. But something which is relevant, it's yogya, that memory, that spurti which happened in your mind is having some relevance. Therefore, I would like to discuss. So, atra prasangad vidhi chintayate. Let's have a bit of discussion on what is this vidhi vakya, savdi bhavana, arthi bhavana. So, savdi bhavana's bhavya or goal is the arthi bhavana. When parents advise us something, or there are moral teachings when we were in school, like for example, anything, a lot of beautiful sentences we used to do while writing our handwriting books. They were all savdi bhavanas because they will create some pung vyapara in us. Okay, and then we will do it. We'll try to execute it. I want to do that. That arthi bhavana comes, and you will specifically try to execute it in different ways. So we will do it in here. Now, what is this prerana? That vidhivakya, the preraniya is the prerita. That is any of you. There is a preranatmaka vakya, and that is a preraka. That particular vidhivakya is the preraka. It's moving you. And then you have prerita. All beautiful things he's saying. But what is prerana? What is this pravartana? What is this motivating or inducing somebody, guiding somebody to do something? They are going to have a bit of discussion. It's very educative, like we did in chapter 6. But Mimamsa can actually, get on your nerves, be on a point, because so much of rituals, but we'll try to keep it very simple. Prasangad vidhi chintayate prabriti hetutvena prerana tavat sarva loka anubhava siddha. Prabriti hetu. Suddenly you are a late riser, you're a late bloomer, used to study in college days during exams. Many of us used to study till 2 o'clock, 3 4 months, right, to finish your course, and then you will try to get up early, or but whatever, breakfast time, till the bell rings in the hostel, you are still sleeping. So 8 you wake up. Now suddenly you're doing some Vedanta and some Gita and Bhagavad Gita or meditation and yoga, or you have early morning. So a lot of people go to office very early in different Western countries, and they want to come back early also. Unlike Indians who come back home at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Many places the offices close actually at 5:30 or 6 or 7. If you're staying late, they suspect. Unlike here, if you stay late, they think you are very, very hardworking, very committed. So it's all cultural differences. That prabriti hetu, the cause of our prabriti, which is moves us to do something, hetu tvena prerana. That prerana is prabriti ka hetu hota hai. That means whatever efforts we do, whatever perseverance we do, there is a motivating sentence, there's a motivational word somewhere. And that prerana tavat sarva loka anubhava siddha. Everybody will agree it works. Rajya prerito valeno prerita brahmanene prerita aham itihi pravartamana vaktaro bhavanti. A lot of people say, I'm doing it. Why are you going to the market? My son's birthday, he wants a gift. It's a little boy, he's demanded from his father that I want this particular model of aeroplane. Go buy it for me. Not a real aeroplane, but he'll go and buy something for him. Ragya Pririto, the boss has said that you have to make a presentation so everybody is asleep, but the father, poor father, he's making the PPT throughout the night with all data and everything. Brahmanina Pririta, and there is a certain puja, and then this particular said that you have to reach the temple at exactly this time, then the Rudravishekam will start. He pravartamana vaktar bhavan, the people talk and they mention about why they're doing anything. Sacha pravartana pravartaka rajadinishta. That pravartaka, that particular thing, rajadinishta, somebody who is pushing you to do something. And that pravartaka is rajadinishta. That it is that particular prerana is starting from somewhere, and there is a preraka, and there is somebody who is prayojaka, whatever you call it. Tatra utkristasya nikristam prati pravartana, and he is now categorizing it, and they're beautiful words to remember. So utkristasya nikristam prati pravartana, if there is a superior who is asking a junior to do something, he might use the same exact language. Would you please look after this particular issue? He's saying the same thing. Would you please is there, look after this issue, but he is the CEO of your company, or he is your father, or he is your father's elder brother, even more difficult. In a marriage ceremony, he's saying, would you please handle this? You have to take it seriously. So that is called preshana. Preshana is, I mean, it sounds very familiar, isn't it? So preshana is chodyate, cha uchyate. Nikristasya utkrishtam prati pravartana yancha adhyeshana iti cha uchyate. On the other hand, there's this, I was watching this, these small YouTube clips where there's this little child, he sees the mom comes out and holding a chocolate and she starts eating it, and the little girl is so well behaved and well trained, she walks up to the mom. She was playing in the garden, and the mom wants her attention. She doesn't do anything, she just sits on the steps and starts eating an ice cream. And the little girl comes and sits next to the mother and says, Mama, would you give me some, please? That's all. And she's repeating it almost 5 to 10 times. And the mother is acting as if she's eating it. And the baby's behavior is so encouraging because just 2.5 years old, but she keeps repeating that sentence. Mama, would you please give me some, please? That is yancha. She's asking. She's also ordering, but it's not order, it's yancha or adhyeshana. That is also pravartana, but this is adhyeshana. So we have to categorize preshana, the opposite is adhyeshana. Then samasya samam prati utkarsha niskarsha odasinyena. It's quite particular things. You are equals, two colleagues, same level, friends. And utkarsha Nikarsha Audasinyena Pravartana Anugya Anumati iti uchyate. And you are there, you're sitting in your chamber, you go to a friend's chamber and say, I was going for a cup of tea, would you also like to have one? You're absolutely not saying that, please come have a tea. I mean, that's the Indian way, but generally, which is in a sophisticated way, would you like to do it? Would you like to have a cup of tea? That's it. He may come, she may come, he or she may not come, and you are also not bothered. But you're just doing it so that he or she shouldn't feel that you went for a coffee but forgot to just ask him. So you're just asking. He may or may not come. So that's called what? Anujya or Anumati iti cha uchyate. Techa, and then there would be another one. Yancha Teshana Nikrishta Anugya. Okay. Techa Agyadaya Jnana Vishesa Ichha Vishesava Chetana Dharma Eva Loke Prasiddha. And this particular, all prernas, these kinds of, there are chetanatmaka, one human being is trying to request somebody to do something. So jnana vishesa, ichha vishesa. So they're they're predominantly knowledge oriented or ichha oriented. There is a cognitive element, there's an emotional element. Both the aspects are there. But chetana dharma eva loke prasiddha. वेदे तो विधिना अहम प्रेरितः करोमि इति व्यवहर्तारो भवन्ति. वेद में भी ऐसे होता है, वेद में लिखा है इसलिए मैं कर रहा हूँ, आई एम डूइंग दिस बिकॉज इट्स रिटन इन द वेदास. तत्र स्वयं अचेतनत्वाद. नाउ दिस वेद, इज इट चेतना? डज इट हैव अ लाइफ? इज इट अ ह्यूमन बीइंग? इट्स अचेतना, इट्स अ टेक्स्ट. अचेतनत्वाद अपौरुषेयत्वाच्च. इज देयर अ ह्यूमन बीइंग हु हैज रिटन इट? My father had written this letter and I've got it, so I have to execute it. No, there's no father, no mother. It's all Purushaya. It's an authorless text. Vaidikasya vidhe, and therefore the Vaidika vidhis, na chetana dharmena ajnadina prerakata sambhavati. So all these, the top one, all the cha ajnadaya, ajna, yancha, adheshana, preshana, all that we studied above, they are chetana dharmas. Here, these Agyadina, the Chetan Dharmana Agyadina Prerakata Sambhavati. Here, no, it's not possible to say that you are Prerita, you are Preraniya, that you are motivated by what's written in these spiritual books. But there is no author. Yeah, if it's, let's say you are reading Ramakrishna Kathamrita or something, that is fine. Bhagavad Gita is also a Paurusha, is written by someone. But you're looking at the Vedas, the Apurusha, it's authorless text. You cannot say somebody said it, and therefore the Prerakata, that Vidhi Vakya, cannot have Prerakata because there is no Chetana thing. Chetana Dharma is not there. Ataha Swadharmena Eva. What is Swadharma? That's Sabdatmaka. It is a Sabdatmaka Vakya. That is Swadharma. Swadharmena Eva Sa Abhyupagantabhya. So we have to make sense of it. Excuse me. Gatyantara asambhava. There is no other way to make sense of it. Sa evacha dharmaha chodana pravartana prerana vidhi upadesaha sabda bhavana iti cha uchyate. Sa evacha dharma chodana. This particular advice, this dharma chodana, this vidhi vakya, excuse me, pravartana prerana vidhi upadesaha, it's called sabda bhavana. Atra tatra. Okay, I think there's a new section starting, and we'll take it up tomorrow. I'll stop here. There is a Laukika and Alaukika Sabda Vyapara. We'll deal with it tomorrow. And anyway, suddenly something is stuck in my throat. And if you have any questions, we can do the Santi Mantras. And I think about Sunday would be off, but Monday onwards, we'll meet on time 7:30. So we'll do the Santi Mantras unless somebody has any questions. Okay, Chinmay, we do the Santi Mantras.
Okay, Swami.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असुदो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।